we start our lecture. In previous lecture, we have discussed about the MAC-based some techniques, that is the HMAC, and the other is the CMAC. This is the block cipher technique. So now we have discussed. We will discuss on the digital signature, because digital signature is used. Both concepts are the MAC and the HMAC, or the hash function. So now, first of all, why we require the digital signature. Suppose in the digital signature, the message authentication is used to protect the two message exchanging parties. Any third party and any third party. First, it does not protect the two parties against any forgery among each other. Several forms of dispute between the two are possible. Uh, Suppose X send an authenticated message to Y. Uh, Consider the following dispute. There is a two dispute. Number one, the receiver may forge a different message and claim that it came from the sender by simply appending an authentication code using the key that both of them share. Number two, the sender can deny sending the message. It is possible for the receiver to forge a message. So there is no way to prove that the sender actually sent the message. In the both scenario are for genuine concern. In such situations where there is no complete trust between sender and the receiver, sometimes more than simple authentication is required. The most attractive solution of this problem is the digital signature. The digital signature has the following properties. Number one, by third party to resolve dispute, authentication of the content at the time of the signature, and the third is the verification of the author and the date and time of the signature. So there is the basic requirement and the why we use the digital signature. First of all, uh, we use the we discuss about what is a digital signature. Basically, digital signature are the public key primitive of message authentication. In the physical world, it is common to use handwritten signature on handwritten or typed message. They are used to bind signatory to the message. Similarly, a digital signature is a technique that binds a person or entity to the digital data. This binding can be independently verified by receiver as well as any third party. And the digital signature is a cryptographic value that is calculated from the data and a secret uh, key known only by the signer. Uh, in the digital signature, it must verify the author and date of time of the signature. It must to authenticate the contents at the time of the signature, and it must be verifiable by third party to resolve the dispute. Basically these requirements on the discuss on the starting of the topic, and so digital signature can function include the authentication function. So this is the basic digital function, and there is the digital signature property. First is the must depend on the message sign, must use information unique to sender, must be relatively easy to produce, must be relatively easy to recognize and verify, be computationally infeasible to forge, and be practical, save digital signature in storage. So this is basic digital signature. The basically two types of digital signature. One is the digital signature, and the other is the arbitrated digital signature. So first, what is the direct digital signature? The direct digital signature involve only the communication party. That is only the source and the destination. It is already assumed that the receiver party knows the public key of the source. A digital signature can be designed in two ways. First, encrypting the whole message with the sender private key or encrypting a hash code of the message with the sender private key. So this is basically a concept of the direct digital signature, and the confidentiality can be provided by the further encrypting the complete message uh, with signature and either the receiver public key or a shared secret key. So this is the basic direct digital signature, and the limitations of the direct digital signature. Number one, the validity of the approach, it depends on the security of the sender private key. If a sender later wish to deny sending a particular message, the sender can claim that the private key was lost and someone else forged his signature. And the number two, another threat is that some private key might actually be stolen from a time T, and the opponent can then send a message signed with a signature and stamped with the time before or equal to the T. So basically, this is the uh, direct digital signature. After this, the second is the arbitrated digital signature. Uh, the problem with the direct digital signature can be resolved by the arbitrator. Uh, every signed message from a sender A to receiver B goes first on an arbiter A who qualifies the message and its signature through a number of tests to check its origin and contents. Arbiter also is called the mediator that verifies the message or qualifies the message. The message is then date stamped and sent to the B with indication that it has been verified to the satisfaction of the arbiter. The presence of X solves the problem faced by direct signature scheme that A can deny the message. The case describes further example of arbitrary signature method. In the first case, symmetric encryption is used. It is assumed that the sender and receiver both share individual shared keys with the arbiter, mm, and the sender A construct a message and compute its hash value h of n. Then A transmit the message plus a signature to X. The signature consisting of an identifier of A with the hash value all encrypted using the K of A of X. Arbiter X decrypts the signature and check the hash value to validate the message. Then X transmits a message to receiver B, encrypt with key K of XB. The message includes uh, identifier of A, the original message from A, the signature and the timestamp. Then B can decrypt this, recover the message and signature. The timestamp informs B that this message is timely and note a replay. B can store message M and the signature. In case of dispute, B who claim to have received M from A sends to following message to X. The basic limitation, this can imply that the arbiter X is able to read message from A and B. If possible, the eavesdropper or man in middle attack is also to do so. In the second case, the second example provides the arbitration as before, but also assure confidentiality. In this case, it is assumed that A and B share the secret key. This is the A of B. And now A transmits an identifier, a copy of message encrypted with key and signature X. The signature consists of the identifier with the hash value of the encrypted message, all encrypted using K A of X. As before X, decrypt the signature and check the hash value to validate the message. In this case, X is working only with the encrypted version of the message and is prevented from reading it. Then transmit everything then it received from A plus timestamp all encrypted with K of XB to B. And the limitation of this techniques, the arbiter can form an alliance with sender to deny a sent message, or with the received to forge the sender signature. So now this is basically uh, arbitrated digital signature. There is some advantage of this technique. Number one, no information is shared among the parties before communication, preventing alliance to defraud. And number two, second, no incorrectly dated message can be sent even if private key is compromised, assuming that the private key of arbiter is not compromised. So this is the arbitrated digital signature. Uh, this is the model of the digital signature. In this, there is a signer and the other is the verifier. The signer signs the message, and the verifier can check that the message and the authenticate and the receiver. The data uh, sent to the hashing function produce the hash code, and the signer sign the message using his private key, or after this the data and the signature sent to the verifier using the verification algorithm, you're using and decrypt the message and using hash function and the is signer public key, and using hash function create the hash code, and finally we check the hash code to previous hash code. If both are equal, then we can say that the the message is correct, and it come from the authorized user. So this is basically the uh, working of the message. Suppose each person adopting this scheme as public and the private key pair. The key pair for encryption and decryption and signing and verifying are different. The private key used for signing and the public key used for the verification key. Signer feeds the data on the hash function and generate the hash code. Hash value and signature key are then fed to the signature algorithm, which produce the digital signature or given hash. Signature is appended to the data and both are sent to the verifier. Verifier feeds the digital signature and verification key into the verification algorithm. The verification algorithm gives some value as output. Verifier also runs same hash function on received data to generate hash value. For verification, this hash value output of verification algorithm are compared. Based on the comparison result, verifier decides whether the digital signature is valid or not. Since digital signature is created by private key or signer, and no one else can have this key, the signer cannot repudiate signing the data in the future. So this is the basic digital signature, and after this there is the three importance of the digital signature. One is the message authentication, other is the data integrity, and third is the non-repudiation. Uh, now, uh, message authentication, when the verifier validates the digital signature using public key of a sender, he is assured that signature has been created by only by sender, who uh, possess the corresponding secret private key and no one else. Data integrity, it can attack has access to the data and modify it. The digital signature verification at the receiver and fail. The hash of modified data and the output provided by the verification algorithm will not match. Hence, receiver can safely deny the message, assuming that the data integrity has been breached. We can say that data is always same, and the non-repudiation, it is assumed that only the signer and knowledge of the signature key, he can only create unique signature of given data. A third part, so the receiver can present data and the digital signature of a third party as evidence if any dispute. arise in the future. So this is the simple importance of the digital signature, or if we can achieve the encryption in digital signature, we can use the two techniques. One is the sign then encrypt, and the encrypt then the sign. Uh, in in many digital communication, it is desirable to exchange an encrypted message and plain text to achieve that confidentiality. In public key encryption scheme, a public key of sender is available in open domain, and hence anyone can prove his identity and send any encrypted message to the receiver. This makes it essential for employing PKC, the public key certificate for encryption, to seek digital signature along with encrypted data to be assured of message authentication and non-repudiation. This scheme achieved by using the two possibilities. One is the sign then encrypt, and encrypt then the sign. So this is the encrypt then the sign, because the crypto system based on the sign then encrypt can be exploited by receiver and spoof of identity of sender and send the data to third party. So this method is not preferred. So we use the encrypt then the sign. In this method, the receiver, after receiving the encrypted data and signature on it, first verify the signature using sender's public key. After ensuring the validity of the signature, he then retrieve the data through decryption using the private key. The message it show the how to sign the message. First off, in the sender side, data uh, encryption using the receiver public key. Hashing function provide the hash, and the digital signature we use the sender's private key, and the combine the encrypted data and the digital signature. So this is the basic of the digital signature. After this, we have briefly discussed about the digital certificate. Digital certificate is issued by a third party. This is called the CA. CA issue an encrypted digital certificate containing the applicant's public key and variety of other identification information. The basic in the digital certificates combine some uh, different type of information. One is the name of certificate holder and the serial numbers, expiry date, copy of certificate holder, public key, digital signature of the certificate issuing authority, and digital certificate also sent with the digital signature and the message. So this is the basic idea of the digital certificate. And the digital certificate we will discuss in the unit 5. Uh, this is the basic difference between the digital signature and the digital certificate. Number one, digital certificate is a fingerprint or attachment of digital document ensure its authenticity and integrity, where the digital certificate is a file that ensure holder identity and provide security. Number two, uh, in the digital signature, hash value of original message encrypted with the sender secret key to generate the digital signature, wherein the digital certificate, it is generated by the certificate authority that involves the four steps in the key generation, registration, verification, and the creation. And the digital signature provide the authenticity, integrity, and the non-repudiation, where the digital certificate provides the security and the authenticity of certificate holder. And the standard digital signature follow the DSS, and the digital certificate is follow the X.509 certificate. So now we will discuss the digital signature standard. This is called the DSS. DSS is the US government approved signature scheme, which designed to provide a strong signature without allowing easy use of core encryption. The DSS makes use of the secure hash algorithm and present a new digital signature technique. This is called the digital signature algorithm. The DSS developed in 1991 and revised in the 1993. Uh, so we have discussed about the digital signature algorithm. Digital signature algorithm has advantage. being both smaller and the faster over RSA. Unlike RSA, it cannot be used for encryption or key exchange. It is a public key technique. The DSA is based on the difficulty of computing discrete logarithm and is based on scheme originally presented by Alghamel and the Schoner. This is the basic difference between the RSA approach and the DSA approach. The DSA differ from the RSA how the message signature is generated and the validated. RSA signature encrypts the message hash with the private key to create a signature which is then verified by being encrypted with the public key to compare a recreated hash value. In the DSA signature, use the message hash, global public key, private key and the random key to create two parts of signature. This is R and the S. So there is the three steps in the DSA algorithm. When first is the key generation using the three key. This is the P, Q, and the G. This is the global parameter. Then each uses a random private key X, and the compute the public key. The calculation of the public key Y given in X relatively straightforward. However, given the public key Y, it is computationally infeasible to determine X, which is discrete logarithm of Y to base G and mod P. Where is the P, G, and the Q? Suppose P is the any prime number, where L is the 512 to 1024 bits and the multiple of the 64 bits, and the Q is the prime factor of P minus 1. Select Q equals to S to power P minus 1 divided by Q. Q is the any integer number which is less than from the P minus 1. The users then select private key. Private key, the X is always less than Q, and the compute Y equals to Y is the public key. This is the G to power X mod of P. This is the key generation, and after key generation, sign the key or the signature creation. The signature creation using the two variable R and the S. First of all, generate a random signature key. This is called the key. Key value is less than Q. K must be random and destroy after use. Then compute the signature pair R and the S. S is the G to power K mod of P mod of Q, and the S equals to K inverse H of M. H of M is the hash of the message, and X the private key, and the R is the variable, this variable, and the mode of Q. So this message is sent to the receiver. After this, compare the verify the signature using the sub formula. This is the using some variable. This is the W, U1, U2, and the V. First of all, we calculate the W equals to S of inverse mod of Q. Value of S is already calculated in the signers, and the U1 equals to H of M W mod of Q. Calculate the W. The whole value H of M and the mod of Q are also available. U2 is the R dot W mod of Q, and the V equals to G of U1, Y of U2, mod P, and the mod of Q. After this, we have calculated the we have compared the B and the R. If B and the R are equal, then we can say that the whole thing is correct. There is no attack or no third party or the no hacker or cracker involved in the communication. So this is the basic digital signature algorithm. So now we have discussed in this lecture digital signature and digital signature techniques like DSA algorithm and digital signature standards and the encryption with digital signature. Thanks everyone.